There's a good start right there. Yes. We're not blacked out from the earthquakes down in Southeast Asia. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a Celtic world. I did not start it with the infamous double H word or triple H word. I think I doubled down on the double down in my last hosting appearance. My name is Dano here in the Republic of Korea, and joined by our ever faithful companion David down in Bangkok. And David, man, how's everything going? I mean, 7.7 on the Richter scale over the weekend, right in between Yangon and Bangkok, it seemed to me. So how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, hey Dano, hi folks. Yeah, it's been probably the most terrifying experience of my life. Um, I remember I was in Ibrox many years ago when we were losing 5-1 with 30 minutes to go, and at that time I was terrified that we were going to lose by 7 or more. But I can tell you this was much scarier.
Oh, man.
Um, my apartment's on the 32nd floor, and my wife and daughter and our dog, who was terrified, so had to carry him down the stairs for about
Yeah. Oh,
16
man.
floors. And he's not the size of your ex-man, sadly.
Yeah.
So I was exhausted, and to be honest, because this is my third sort of major earthquake I've been kind of in, but this was the largest and the highest up previously on the first floor and the fifth floor. But this was, as you say, 7.7 was terrifying. The room was shaking,
Yeah.
furniture falling, etc.
Yeah.
And then just waiting for the aftershock as we're carrying my mutt down the stairs for so many floors. But fortunately, there's been there's only one building that's come down. But our thoughts and prayers, obviously, with everyone involved there. And I've got a lot of colleagues in our Myanmar office. I was there myself a couple of months ago. They've had an absolute horrible time of it. So yeah, it's been some weekend dealing with the aftermath of that. And saying that, still managed to watch the Hearts game from the Celtic Supporters Club. So
man. There it is, baby. Yes.
you have to get your priorities right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't miss the game. I mean, it's the family, it's the dog, and then it's the Celtic game. I mean, you've got everything covered. I mean, the house, got the insurance, everything will take care of itself.
Yep.
But yeah, we're so glad you're safe, David, and thanks so much for joining us. I know this has been kind of last minute, like everybody dropped out, even the host, thus me being the host again, which is not ideal. Clearly.
You're making me feel loved, Dano. Absolutely, everyone dropped out. Oh Christ! I suppose we better go with him again.
We're in the same boat. We're like, we're the guys in the dead rubber game. Like, did you see that? I had a hat trick. Everybody's like, yeah, fuck off, man. Like, nobody cares.
Yep.
But what's up to everybody in the chat? We set this up, man, only like maybe 15-20 minutes ago. So I had figured it was already set up at StreamYard like the other shows where Gav has been gone. And then I sat down here at like 6:30, like, okay, let's type up the agenda. And then I'm like, do I have anybody here? And then there was no image. There was nothing going on. So, hey, man, this is crucial. You are the man of the hour. Cometh the hour, cometh the man, David.
Yep.
Beautiful.
I also love the idea that you think that this broadcast is always scripted to the last millimeter.
Oh no, it's not. I'm just trying to.
I think we can manage it.
Yeah. I'm just trying to give off the illusion. You're blowing my coverage. But anyways, what's up to everybody in the chat, man? We've got a good group of people. Our usual suspects. Snitch, what's going on? Monty was here in the chat before we were here. Cam Mac, everybody else, G Doc, who's in the house. Thanks for joining us. You guys are what makes this whole thing tick. Now, we've got our agenda as usual for today, which, like many of the other things here on A Celtic World, was prepared in minute detail far in advance. And we'll go through that right now. First item is obviously the game over the weekend. It was good to get back on the winning track, obviously. Maeda's contract offer. This is an interesting thing that I believe Rogers mentioned immediately after the game while he was doing his little presser side of the pitch, or maybe afterwards in a proper press conference. But left back, left out. Taylor's exit seems like it's looming. Talk about that. Talk about the left back situation. I mean, we obviously have Kieran Tierney coming in, but is Scales a proper backup for Tierney?
No.
I don't think so. I would hazard a guess that most Celtic supporters feel the same way. And then we've got St. Johnstone away this weekend. So let's get to the game over the weekend. Now, obviously, just generally good to get back on the winning track. Get an expected W at home, which we should have gotten before the break. Good to get back from boring, stodgy old international football, man. I know a lot of supporters don't feel the same way, but a lot do as well. So, David, what were your thoughts on the game, just generally?
Yeah, I mean, it was, as you say, it was great to get back to proper football. I'm actually one of the rare in this forum. I'm actually I'm a Scotland fan, and I always like to see Scotland do well. And if possible, I would, I wouldn't necessarily stay up to watch them like I would for Celtic. Given the hours that we have to watch them during 3 o'clock in the morning, etc. But yeah, 2 weeks without proper football was way too much. So, but yeah, I thought it was the first 5 minutes or so were a little bit scary. First time we had seen Sinisalo, and there was doubts about how he was going to manage the press from Hearts. And saying that, I don't think they really created much. I think they had maybe one chance that he made a half decent save. And then after about 15 minutes, we pretty much took control. And I had predicted last week that we would win 5-0, and I was thinking I'd probably underestimated it when it was 3-0 at half time, and we were absolutely battering them. But yeah, it was great to be back. Great to be back in watching the game in the Bangkok Celtic Supporters Club, and it was a great evening.
Yeah, I mean, it must have been kind of weird having gone through the earthquake like that day, and then watching the game. I mean, somewhat surreal, I would guess, but yeah, it was kind of a novel experience for me too over the weekend. I mean, we didn't do the drink along. I was kind of sick, man. I caught some like fluish stuff on Friday night, and then just was kind of out all weekend. So I was just down for the count. So I was actually watching the game rather than nominally viewing it out of the side of my eye while talking a bunch of shit with Kaiser. So I mean, it was a novel experience, and I just got a new projector, so that was nice to watch as well. But yeah, I mean, we absolutely, once we got the first goal for the first half, we absolutely were just on top of them pretty much for the rest of the game. I mean, like you said, they didn't really cause a lot of trouble for us, but it does stand out at the beginning of the game. There was some nervy, almost Rangers-esque tension where they're kind of taking it to us for first 10 minutes or so, getting a few possessions deep in the half. I mean, it didn't really come to much, but I like when the game started, I was like, oh man, are we going through this again to the diets? Like, no, please say it ain't
exactly.
so.
Yeah,
But yeah.
But no, I think that this is what teams do against us. I think every team this season has tried to do the press for as much as they can, and it usually lasts about 10-15 minutes until they get a bit knackered, and until we've managed to find a way to sort of get past that initial press. So the first 10 minutes was was a little bit dodgy. We were playing very, very close to to our own box, but then Hatate plays a fantastic pass through to McGregor, and then he puts it through to Maeda, and the form that he's in, is, you just knew that goal was going to be scored. This time last year, you would have probably thought maybe 50-50, but there was absolutely no doubt at all. And I love the post match after it when have you seen the one where he was interviewed and he said, "Oh, two goals you scored, and you could have scored a hat trick," and he just said in his brilliant English, he says, "Next time I score hat trick." And it was like, yes.
That guy is serious. Maeda is just becoming like, I don't know. He at first he seemed kind of like an acquired taste. A lot of fans, it was kind of 50-50 or even 30-70 whether anybody liked him. Then he became kind of a cult hero just because of his work rate, and he was amazing. I mean, like Steven said a while ago, he had the touch of a baby elephant when he came to us, but he's become a real player, man. And it's interesting to look at the doubts people had about Maeda as our main striker once Jota came back. A lot of the support didn't like it. Get another guy.
Yeah, I was one of them.
What do you think, man? I mean,
you're sure.
Just proving his quality.
I think when people say cult hero, sometimes they've misspelt the L in the N, but because it usually means they're kind of not particularly good. No offense to previous cult heroes, but people like Anton Rogan and the like kind of spring to mind. But he's gone from being someone who had sort of moments of fantastic skills to someone now who you rely on 100%. There's no one in that team that you would be having before him. He's going to be player of the season by a mile. And we need to. I know that we're going to talk about his contract situation later on, but I would just give him whatever he wants, double it.
Honestly,
just
be sure and give him more.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to McLaughlin P here with the amazing icon down here. We have surely elevated Maeda's status far loftier than really the team.
I think if that's McLaughlin's, if that's your actual face, then I think you're cheating. I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say because Jesus is probably the only person that would have, predicted that Maeda would be the superstar that he was. 17 goals in 17 games, or in his last 17 games, he is magnificent, and he loves his song. The
oh yeah,
and he loves it. And I hope he's here forever.
Oh man, I mean he is absolutely essential right now, especially. I mean, the past few games he has been indispensable. Now, who else stood out on Saturday night? I mean, I think we had a few players that definitely had very good games, especially a couple guys who had some stinkers against Rangers before the international break. Sinisalo making kind of his first league start. And I think he did very well. I mean, kept a clean sheet. Like we said, didn't have a ton to deal with, but looked pretty assured in there, man. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought he did well. I think his distribution wasn't as to the level that you normally get from Schmeichel, but really in this case against Hearts, we were just looking for something solid. Looking for the clean sheet to build on from attack, etc. So no, I thought I played well. I thought I was. I've got enough confidence in him now that if we end up with him playing every game for the rest of the season, I'm still very confident of the treble. We've got St Johnstone in the semis, so we should be battering them. They're bottom of the league. Dyson of Nazareth. And so I think that was very positive. It was great to have McGregor back.
Mm,
I felt that was important. Um, he showed, the what he's all about. He does that. I think Paul mentioned it in the show last week that he's the one that does all the running and going to collect the ball from Carter Vickers' feet rather than asking the big man to play a 2-yard pass forward.
mm,
So he was willing to do that again, and I felt his forward passes were a bit better than probably than usual.
mm,
That's not normally his game, I don't think. But
mm.
yeah, I thought it was good to have him back. I thought it's probably Kuhn's best game in a couple of months.
Yeah.
Some of his passing was his passing for the second goal, where Dyson heads it onto the post.
Yeah.
Was really, it was like going back 3 months, the Kuhn that we had
Mm,
before.
yeah.
So
Yeah, it was interesting to watch Kuhn. I mean, I think he kind of evolved into the game because at the start he had a couple of times he got dispossessed or whatever, lost the
yeah,
ball, and this is when we're having trouble. And I'm like, oh man, here we go again.
yeah,
And it was, yeah, because I mean, by the end of the first half, he was on fire, man. He was causing them a lot of troubles. We were causing a lot of problems for them on both wings for sure, and up the
yeah,
middle of the park, and that's exactly
yeah,
what we want to do. I
yeah.
thought, Jota had a great first half. He
Mhm.
caused a lot of trouble over on his side. But who else stood out? And he had a couple of just sublime moments, especially in the first half, was Engels, man.
Yeah,
Engels
yeah.
had a couple of stellar moves and holding off defenders, a couple guys.
Mhm.
But he had a little back heel while they were on the attack, and
Tremendous,
I
wasn't
was
it?
just like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, baby!" I thought he had a magnificent game, and it was like
Yeah,
a great barometer of
yeah,
how he's developing since joining the club. What
yeah.
do you think?
Yeah, I think, I sort of joined the Kerrydale the website quite often, and they have pages dedicated to each of the players, and it was quite interesting. Quite a few of the people on that were thinking he was a bit mediocre, and I was thinking they were probably watching a different game because I think he
Right.
does that kind of. He does about 2 or 3 different positions. He can play the 6. He can play the box to box. He's got an eye for a pass.
Mm.
He can tackle. And he's what? Is he just turned 22? Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think next year he's going to dominate the league. There's comments about the wee dwarf that plays for for Sevco. People getting their knickers in a twist because he's got into the Belgian squad.
Yeah.
Again, Engels is light years better than him, and we're so lucky to have him. And the thing is, for me, is that it shows you that by investing proper money, you get proper players.
Mm.
Too many times in the last few years, we've been trying to go for let's see what £2 or £3 million gets us. Whereas this time we thought, let's go for it. Let's go 10, £12 million and see what that gets us. And it's got us a guy who's got so much potential. But in my
Mm.
opinion, he's already showing that he's more than capable at the level he's at just now, and he's only
Yeah.
going to get better.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the other thing is, I just don't get watching football fans vent a spleen about a guy who's just transferred into their club
Yeah,
that year, and he's not just going gangbusters. And everybody's, oh, it seems like a total waste of money. It almost always takes the players like a full season under the belt, get some
sure.
training camp the
Yeah,
next summer. I mean, but it's just like it's just rinse and repeat with anybody.
yeah,
I mean, and
definitely.
I mean, it's understandable. I mean, at any club, of our standard, I
Mhm.
mean, we're just putting the ultimate pressure on players. But
Yeah.
I think Engels, yeah, I completely agree. By next year, he's gonna be a force, man.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and actually, I thought Ida played okay when he came on.
Mm, I
He
did
would have
too.
been desperate. He would have been desperate to score a goal, but I thought his hold up play was quite good.
Mm,
His movement, his touch was good. I thought his attitude was good. Um, so it was it was great to to see that different option that we had.
mm.
Um,
Yeah, no doubt about it. And this is an interesting and Mahesh. Shout out to Mahesh. He always comes in. He always comes in with the real analytics,
Yeah.
unlike any of us. But yeah, Celtic missed Calmac's movement against Rangers. I don't think that can be doubted, can it?
Yeah. Not sure. I
Yeah.
mean, I think also the option when we look at the bench we had against Rangers, I think they only had maybe one player that had actually played outfield in the league all season. So I mean, our
Yeah.
bench was in a terrible state in that game. So
Yeah.
having him back, and also I thought it was good to have Bernardo back.
Yes, Bernardo, man. Yeah, I think Bernardo. Do you think he kind of flies under the radar a little bit?
Definitely.
Yeah, big time, man.
Yeah. Portugal under 21 captain.
Yeah, he's an amazing player. I mean, you don't come up through the Benfica youth ranks and you're like some kind of slob, man. I think him also, man. He's gonna be a phenomenal player, and I think both him and Engels are flexible enough in midfield. They can take on any role. They're flexible enough. They're strong enough. They've got the skill set. I'm kind of like looking forward to watching both of them like starting regularly in the midfield at some point. Hope it happens because those two are phenomenal, man. Yeah.
And saying that, we haven't mentioned my favourite, Hatate, who again I thought was good.
Had a good game, man.
You know, and for a change, he had a good first half as well as a good last 30 minutes. Good range of passing. Again, a bit frustrating sometimes when he loses the ball, but he's the one who's taken those risks, the one who's got the vision to make those kind of passes.
Yeah, exactly.
It was his quick pass to McGregor, and obviously McGregor's was a bit more difficult, the way that he bent it around for the first goal. But yeah, I thought Hatate was good. We've got good options again. But certainly having McGregor and Bernardo, it just gives a lot of different options. But and then Yang hasn't let us down when he comes on as well. So things are looking pretty comfortable again. St Johnstone will come to as well, but we'll batter them.
Yeah, at this point in the season, I mean, if you're looking at like the guys who are kind of in roles and they're in like coming off the bench mode or whatever, they're all kind of getting to a point where Rodgers and the staff have to be pretty happy with their development and improvement in performance and all that, right?
Sure. Yeah. I think things are looking good. Yep.
Yeah. Hopefully Yang's girlfriend hasn't gone into like witness protection or anything.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, keep
kind
it here.
Yeah, that kind of blew up over here, man. I was concerned. I was kind of talking to a lot of Korean females about it. I was like, what if you were this girl and you were just dating this player in Scotland, this Korean player? They were like, they just got this look on their face like, oh, that's not good. they just hated
diplomatic incident. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just awful. But yeah, I don't know. Has Rodgers signed her to a long-term deal? I mean, what do you think? What's the over/under on this?
Yeah, I'd take her as interpreter or whatever. Whatever we can do. But
backroom staff.
Yeah, so long may it last. I mean, I think it's great to see him. I think he's put in a huge amount of work, and it's another one where I think when that painting behind me is worth millions, the snitch. I just changing the subject slightly from the comments there. My wife drew that one. She took for about 3 or 4 months. She decided she was going to have a hobby, and the hobby was painting. And some of the paintings she's done are just insanely talented. And so that's one of my favorite ones. So yeah, thank you very much for that.
Hey, if he's saying it's worth millions, I mean, you might have a yeah. I mean, how often does she come to the office? Would she know? He's sold it for millions. Like, would she really be like,
for sure. Yeah. So, but yeah, looks like a Jackson Pollock. Pollock. Sorry, that was my bad eyesight there. Hopefully she
So
can't hear me there. So
yeah.
yeah, uh,
I did like the pronunciation on that. I never really thought about that little turn of
yeah.
phrase. So, David, moving on. I mean, how realistic do you think it is tying Maeda down to a contract at this point? How much interest must there be from down south or around Europe? I mean, do you think this has a realistic possibility of happening? I think Maeda loves being in Glasgow and he loves playing
Yep.
for the club. So I mean
Yep.
that's a big plus for us. Loves having his kids learning English and all this type of stuff. But what do you think?
I think Maeda just ticks all the boxes from a Celtic point of view.
Mm,
We've got the Asia sort of connection. He's a family man. He's got all the sort of the morals and the standards that we would like to see in any person. But obviously, most importantly, he's a fantastic player.
mm,
He's obviously and he scored goals in the Champions League. He scored goals in the World Cup.
yeah.
He's a Hun scalper. Um, he chases like a lunatic. But in the last 2 or 3 months, he's really added so much to his game. Things that apart from McLaughlin, Jesus, that couldn't see that from. He could see that, unlike the rest of us. He's just turned into the superstar. I think he's on quite a long-term contract already, but whatever it is, double it. At
Just,
least double it. Give him what he wants.
just do it. Just do it, man.
He's so important to us.
Mm,
Also because I was one of the ones in January when we lost Kyogo, and potentially only having Ida as our striking option. It just didn't look good, and it was a risk. It really was. For me, it was a bigger risk than we should have been taking. £80 million in the bank, and we let our main striker go for nothing without a replacement.
mm,
But it's worked out magnificently.
yeah.
And having Jota on one side and Kuhn on the other. And it means that when Kuhn is not maybe having the best day, then
Mm,
you just put Maeda on the wing and do his job, and
right.
give Ida a chance in the middle. So I would give him whatever he wants. He'd definitely
Yeah.
make him our biggest our biggest paid player,
Yeah.
without a doubt. Without a doubt, if it's 40, if it's £50,000 a week, give him it.
Do it, man.
That only works out at what only, but I mean, say £2 million a year.
Right. Right.
What would we be how much would we be paying to replace someone like that?
Mm, yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. And one thing that I think maybe a lot of people, even people who are in the know or people paying attention, well, people paying attention like you, nominal attention like me. Um, one thing I didn't really think of but then Rogers talked about it during this little interview was how much he likes having a striker that presses hard in the middle.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? That's got to be it. I mean, when Kyogo left, Rogers must have been like, okay, this is brilliant. Yeah, I'm slotting Maeda right in there, man. He's perfect for this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I think that for a large part of my Kyogo's career, it looked as if he didn't seem to fit into Rogers' kind of game plan. But the one thing, whether Rogers liked him or not, you knew that Kyogo, he would run for the team. The pressing that we would do, was really intensive. But certainly, Maeda just takes that to the next level. He doesn't give any peace at all. And even when he's not that close to someone, they probably expect him to be there, so they're already rushing their passes, even if he's not got to them already. So yep, let's hope he's here for forever, because it's probably going to take most of us quite a long time to get to know the words to his song.
Yeah. I mean
Yeah.
that one is very lyrically complex. I
Yeah.
mean
Yep. Yep.
it's a toughie. You gotta really
Yep.
kind of
Yep.
hang with the
Yep.
rhythm and takes a few dances. So
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. I mean, 1 to 10. How realistic is this? Do you think, I mean, to my end, I would say that Rogers mentioning it in like a presser or in public means that he feels pretty confident about making this deal happen.
Yeah. I think it's one of these things where financially it's a no-brainer. So if I've no idea how much he's on just now. Let's say he's on 15 grand a week,
Mm,
and we put him up to 40.
right.
So £25,000 extra is just over £1 million.
Mm,
£1 million is nothing in terms of what we'd be paying for to get a replacement in. So
mm.
and then of course the thing is, well, if we double his wages, give him an extended contract, then it means that if one of the big teams does come in the summer, which I still think will happen, that we're going to get offers for him, then they're going to have to pay top dollar for him.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's exactly what, in
Yeah.
reality, us signing him to another long-term deal, that's why it
Mhm.
makes real sense,
Yep.
because then it's like, well, no, he's got all this yardage left on his contract. Obviously, you
Yep.
guys have to pay up to buy him, right?
Yep.
So it makes perfect sporting and business sense. Yeah, like I'm with you. Whatever we got to pay him, like it doesn't matter, man.
Yeah. Pay it double it. Yep.
Yeah, double it, pay like 10 grand more. Doesn't matter,
Yep.
man. Doesn't matter. But yeah, um, really excited. It seems to me like that's going to happen. I mean, knock
Yeah.
on wood and all that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Tommy in the chat box was saying it looks like he's on 16 grand a week
mm,
currently. So yeah, so at least double it, treble it, and
yeah,
then
Brown Warrior is saying we should put a 40 million pound buyout on him. Might not be a
I,
bad
I,
idea.
I'd be worried that people would find that too cheap, to be honest.
Yeah, and I mean with how
Yeah,
inflationary
yeah,
football is nowadays, I mean you
yeah,
might sign him
yeah,
to the contract
yeah,
and then some big club comes in just like, yeah, 40 million, yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. But no,
16 grand though.
long may he stay.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. Now, speaking on the opposite end of that spectrum, murmurings, rumblings, etc., that Taylor seems on his way out the door. I mean, Schloop has obviously taken his place
Mhm.
in the past month or two.
Yeah.
So, what to do on left back? Do
Mhm.
we try and buy Schloop? We don't really, it doesn't seem like we have a buyout clause in the loan deal. So, what would you say about that? Should we get Schloop on a permanent deal? Should we look elsewhere? I mean, Tierney's obviously going to need backup, man. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't deny the fact that he has been pinged up, dinged
Yeah.
up over the past several years, and
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's going to have to be some kind of insurance policy back there at left back. So it's obviously not going to be Taylor moving forward.
Yeah.
What do you think? Where
Well,
should we
when
go?
you say it's obviously not going to be Taylor moving forward,
Mm,
I've got a small doubt that we'll end up with Taylor as our backup for the Champions League.
mm.
Um, but I mean, it would be great
Oh,
as
this is
John
freebie,
as
I
John Clements is saying. Yeah, I mean,
guess.
Schlupp is a free transfer, but the
Mm,
the fact that he's a free transfer is in some ways more challenging for us to get him, because
yeah.
we're not going to break our wage structure for a sort of for a
No,
temporary left back.
right.
So if Schlupp's willing to take, I don't know, 25 grand or something, um, that would be the very top end of what we'd offer. Um,
Right.
we know Taylor's uh, obviously got all his limitations, and but I wish him well. When he does
Mm,
go, I will wish him well. Um, I hope we are wishing him well at the end of the season,
I
because
agree.
we should have better. We've been asking for this for a long time. Yeah, he's done as well as he could. He's played lots of decent games,
Mm,
but the reality is that he's been targeted time and time and time and time again, home and away, domestically, internationally. So yeah, but the thing is, again, it's up to us. We're in a position of strength financially. But if Schlupp, who I think has been, apart from the Huns game, has been pretty solid. I thought he'd done another good game against Hearts at the weekend. I think in the first instance we sit down with him and see if he's willing to, whatever wages that we are willing to accept for him. And then if he's not interested, then we look elsewhere. But I think that I think Taylor's time's up. There's rumours that he was wanting, 25, whatever, 30,000 plus some sort of guarantees that it would be a first team starter, which, I mean, it seems quite strange to me that someone like him would be making those demands. I mean, with the best will in the world, you tend to know how good you are, and
right.
So I would think he would probably know. He's not KT.
Right.
And he's not at that elite level that we should be looking for a team of our class.
Yeah, I mean, if Schlupp would be willing to go down, I mean, if what he's been saying to the media isn't just the great karaoke sing along while you're at the club type of thing, and he actually enjoys being here, and he would be down, like he's a good player, man. I like how he looks. I mean, he's looked sharp, man. He's looked very sharp. So if he'd be willing to come down on his wage demands, or get him like a big signing on bonus or something to kind of alleviate the hit on his wages, like that'd be a good move, man. I mean, you'd have left back definitely completely sorted as
for sure.
A couple of our.
I think also that Tierney is flexible enough. I mean, Arsenal had him playing left wing in the Champions League 2 or 3 weeks ago, and by all accounts he was man of the match. We know that he's played centre half for Scotland, so I think that if we do get Schlupp, then we could see Schlupp getting quite a lot of games. So we wouldn't just be paying 20 grand for him to sit in his backside for most of the season. And also we know that with Tierney's his injury history, then it would be good to be able to to have that sort of rotation of the two of them. So
and I mean, if worse comes to worse, people get injured all the time. I mean, during a long season, you could still plug Scales in back there in a pinch, right? So you'd pretty much have your guys sorted, but maybe bring someone up from youth ranks or something like that. But I mean, that would be worst comes to worst, right? I mean, worst comes to worst. So, but it'll be interesting to see how they handle this over the summer. Are you super thrilled or just mega excited to have Tierney coming back? I mean, because I'm thinking about him and Jota on that left side, and I'm just like, yes, I cannot wait.
It cannot come fast enough.
No, honestly,
it's just going to be. It's just going to be magnificent. The crowd will be right up for it. The real feel good factor of having KT and Jota. We start the season with them two, plus Maeda on his new 17-year contract, and the future is going to look good for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now, one other thing, I mean, there's obviously there's always rumblings around players who are doing well at Celtic. I mean, do you think it's realistic AJ stays over the summer for next year? Carter Vickers has had some rumblings going on about interest. I don't want to be like, Mr. Negative or whatever. Oh, woe is me. All our great players get bought away. But, I mean, AJ is so crucial, and CCB, man.
The rumours I've kind of heard that are stronger are around CCV leaving. I think that could be more kind of realistic. AJ seems to love it here. Why would you not? We would give a left Jackson Pollock for to play for 30 minutes for them. But he's got it. He knows what it takes to play for Celtic. For me, he could be a future captain quite easily. He's got the leadership qualities. He's a player. So I would expect teams to come in for Alistair Johnston for sure. But I would hope that we would be in a position to say, look, AJ, let's wait for a year or two until we've won the Champions League, and then, if you want to go, then leave on a high. I think CCV is
right there. Yeah.
I think CCV is more is more of a threat for him to be leaving in the summer from what I've heard. Not being in the know at all, but just what I've cut and paste from other forums, pretending to know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I think we need to be careful. Potentially the spine of the team. Schmeichel, we don't know how. I don't know if you heard anything, or if any of the people in the chat.
We don't know how serious that is.
Is he out for a month? Is he out for 6 months? I think they've given him a year's extension already, which I think is good. Even if he's injured, I think it would be the right thing to give him that second year. He's definitely deserved it. But Sinisalo was fine at the weekend, but I think we've now got the expectation levels up. Joe Hart was a step up from what we had, and then Schmeichel was a big step up from Joe Hart. So I think the standard has been set pretty high. So I'd be looking for, depending on his fitness levels, I would be looking to really strengthen the spine of the team. You've mentioned that we've got Engels and we've got Bernardo, but I still think that Lennon Miller from Motherwell, again, by all accounts, that looks like something that's going to, I think 8 million would possibly get him now, which was double what we probably could have paid, last year. But definitely loads of potential, and we could see him, 18 years old.
Fabulous, man. It's just it's. I mean, it's almost like we're so far out in front. I mean, the only drama that's really left is the semifinal and the final, and hopefully the final of the Scottish Cup. So, I'd say it's kind of natural that the mind wanders to next year already with
Champions League,
etc. Delivering KT early over the summer and all that type of stuff. But Lennon Miller is interesting. I heard or at least I read a couple of articles where it was kind of like the plan with Lennon Miller would be some kind of potential, team leadership type of position, like molding him to be the next Cal Mack or whatever, like the next leader in midfield. Did you see any talk like that?
I don't know about being a leader, but I mean, I think that given just that he's got so much potential, 18 years old, he's already in the Scotland squad. I don't know if he's come off the bench. I don't know if he got his first cap yet, but there's no doubt he's got a huge amount of potential. We've had scenarios in the past where if you look at John McGinn, I mean, John McGinn should be in his 10th year with Celtic by now, or his 8th year, or whatever it was, however long he's been with Aston Villa. Having someone like Miller, so can you imagine you've got Miller 18, Engels 22, Bernardo 22, and then you've got the likes of, and then it means that Cal Mack can sort of slowly, still play an important sort of squad role.
But also mentor those young players too, man.
Definitely. Yeah. And I don't probably expect Hatate to be here much longer. Just something. I love him. I'm his biggest fanboy on here, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him get offers, and maybe with the cult hero Japanese manager, the cult that he is. I think that he's probably telling the Japanese players to get out of Scotland, so you can definitely get full matches for for the Japanese squad, especially now that they're guaranteed in the World Cup next year.
Yeah,
and
it's kind of, isn't it kind of crazy to see? I mean, the trio of Japanese players we bought under Ange, right? So it's Daisen, Hatate, and Kyogo, right? And when Daisen came, I mean, both Kyogo and Hatate just go kind of gangbusters, especially Hatate in the Rangers game, right? And it's kind of funny to see those roles almost like completely reversed. I mean, Maeda is like a god now.
Definitely. What do you mean he's like a god? God is like a Maeda.
Roger Waters joke.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think what did we pay for Maeda? Was it $1 million, $1.5 million, something like that?
Peanuts, man. Absolutely peanuts.
Yeah. So and Brown Warriors saying there about Ideguchi, was, and then we had what was his name? The one that went
defender.
And then we had the one who went to Birmingham. He thought he was going to be the next big thing as a sort of holding midfielder. I'm still a bit disappointed.
Yeah. I mean, we had like 5 or 6 guys that we signed bed, but I mean the big three, right, that came on. I mean, Kyogo was unbelievable.
Thank you, Monty, and thank you, Brown Warrior. Iwata.
That's it. Iwata. But yeah, Kobayashi was the defender who had that. Well, he had a woeful game against Hearts. That was pretty much it for him. But it's interesting to see the dynamic. I mean, Daisen has become just like a hero, man. Because everybody was all about Hatate and especially Kyogo. I mean, Kyogo was just unbelievable under Ange, but now Maeda has 30 goals this year, man. I mean, is that mind-blowing to you, or is it not?
Well, given the majority of his games he's played from as a winger, it's really I think more than 50% of the time he's not been our main forward, not been our main striker, and 30, was it 30? Did he get his 31st? On Saturday. So like
it was 29th and 30th, but whatever.
Whatever. So like who's the snitch? He's fallen in the water. Let's get all the get all the puns out. And
I've only seen one or two sausage jokes so far in the chat, so we're being pretty well behaved.
Yeah, very much so.
The chat did. Yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. No, you're ruling the chat box with an iron fist, Daniel. People they know they have to be behaved, or else you'll set X-Man on them.
He's pretty interested in the game. He's pretty interested in the chat here. He's just been chilling on the sofa in the other room, just like, okay, man, okay, see ya.
But I think McLaughlin makes another point in the chat about how when you've got so many people coming from the one country, you can't expect all of them to hit the ground running. Which is the least you can say about Maeda. He's always running, whether he's hitting the ground or not. And and I think that most of them did well for us, in extents. I think one of the defenders was Aloha when Ferguson, when he was in charge in the Scottish Cup or the League Cup, pretty much did his ankle after about half an hour. And I think that was his career at Celtic kind of finished with one ridiculous tackle. But as I say, I think that we've got a lot to be thankful for from Ange. Bringing tapping into that market. And again, having Yang from the the Korean side as well. So
by the way,
I'm just waiting for them to get someone in from Thailand so they can come and visit us.
Yes. I mean, you don't really need an excuse to go down to Bangkok. You just go. You just
No,
fucking
no,
go, man.
no.
I mean,
Yeah,
just go.
yeah,
Trust me on
yeah,
this.
yeah,
So
yeah.
our final thing to talk about here today, obviously, I mean, I think St. Johnstone are down right at the bottom of the table. I
Yeah.
mean, we should. I mean, they're absolutely crashing these
Yeah.
past few months, especially. I mean, it seems like they were kind of, lower mid table, like 8th, 7th, 9th most of the season, but they have just
Mhm.
the bottom has fallen out. So I would expect we're gonna see a nice proper thrashing with a good away support on Saturday.
Yeah, I think what's important is we don't obviously take it for granted. Some people were saying that the last few games against the Huns we've been taking them for granted, which I don't believe. I just think for whatever reason we didn't turn up. But it's for me. This isn't the time to play. I would start the same first 11 that started against Hearts. Sort of like Jota has his after the international break, he's had time to bring his fitness even more to bear. Maeda, Kuhn, hopefully he's going to repeat his good form from the weekend. Kalmack, etc. So I think we go with our strongest team, and then when we should be hopefully 2 or 3 up by half time, then that gives us a chance to look at other options on the bench, but start as we mean to continue with our strongest team and batter them.
Yeah, I mean, no reason
Yeah.
to take our foot off the gas right now. I mean,
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing. There's no other competitions like midweek we have to be like worrying about
Yeah.
or any type of
Yeah.
rotation. Just put in the heavy hitters, put the game
Yeah.
away, and hopefully we can do that on Saturday.
Yeah.
Anything else you're looking forward to this weekend? I'm looking forward to doing the drink along now. We had a little bit of a thing over the weekend with Gav being in Glasgow at the game, and I'm not sure if you caught that at all, but there was like a 2-minute clip from the post-game coverage or something like that.
It was funny when you as soon as you said the words big hitters, it made me immediately think of Gav and Kaiser. I didn't realize how tall Gav is.
Dude, he's
wow.
He's like 6'6", man.
Like I'm never going to be cheeky to him again. I think I think he's the finest singer I think I've probably ever heard.
Just amazing musician. Yeah,
Daniel O'Donnell is shitting himself.
Yeah, you know what? I must have been about, because I mean it was like me, Steven, Kaiser, and Gav on the very first show here, and it was really funny because I only learned about what you're learning right now about the same amount of time into it, a few months into doing the show, and realizing Gav was like, Gav is like a Greek column, man. He's like 6'6". So that's crazy because you learn that with the picture where he's standing behind Kaiser, right? I mean, Kaiser is like up to his shoulder or something. Gav is massive, man, and I'd only seen him sitting down, right? I mean, that's all we ever see. But he's huge, man.
Who's the snitch says that Gav is a bit of a titch, 4 inches shorter than Snitch's son. Wow.
4 inches shorter than my son. Wow. 6'10", 6'11". Oh man. What's the height of the tallest person you've ever met, David? I mean, I met a guy who was playing like college basketball. He was about 7'1". I mean, what is that, like 210 centimeters? 200.
No.
Wild.
For me, probably 6'6", 6'7", maybe. But no one like basketball type standard. But
I don't know. It was kind of surreal meeting someone who was actually 7 feet tall, man. I mean, it was just like, holy Jesus, man. I'm 6 feet even, and I'm standing there. I'm up to this guy's chest, man. I mean, it was like that. It was just dude, this is wild, man. Like, how do you deal with yourself on a daily basis? Yeah, but Gav is a unit, man. It's wild, but yeah, I was hoping in my kind of sick state to catch like the post game thing that was promised, but I guess in the revelry of the game, guys are in kind of ninja'd off somewhere, and Gav was kind of left alone. So, oh well. But yeah, I'm sure we're going to hear a lot about that trip and a lot
look
of
forward to it.
a lot of the good things that's coming up. Well, we're coming right up on the hour, David. Any final parting shots before we?
Yep. So I think predictions for for Sunday. First of all, it's fantastic that excuse me, that we've got an early kickoff. So especially now with it. Exactly. Thank the Lord. Although I've heard that it might be a Buddhist holiday here in Bangkok, so potentially it's alcohol free. Which would
do they do that in if it's a Buddhist holiday? It's like it's like a dry
do that.
day.
So it would be dry, but yeah, it should be a 6 p.m. kickoff for us. The last time I went for, so Monty, you beat me to it. So like I better go for 7.
Lucky 7, man. Go for it.
Yeah, 7 nil.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm thinking 5-1. We're gonna give up some kind of fluky garbage time goal or something like that, and I don't know. Sinisalo will have his first like super pissed at the defense, screaming at people in the background, and we'll be like, what a leader this fucking kid is, man. So it'll be good all around.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but we know for sure. Dyson has promised us, as he told us in his post-match interview, next game I score hat-trick.
Yeah.
So you heard it there first. So yep. Get the CO, John, exactly. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I think we're going to close the show. Big up before we go to everyone in the chat. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. And you can always watch these and our worldwide CSC FKA drink-alongs on X or Instagram as well, if you want to tune in that way. But big up to everybody in the chat, especially Dyson of Nazareth, aka McLaughlin P. And Evan, it was good to see Evan in the chat. Brown Warrior, Monty, always hanging tough. Craig Young, Snitch, as always with the calls. The Snitch, man, he always has some one-liner anytime he's on there. Just kills it. But that is going to be it for a Celtic World for this Monday. Right by the seat of our pants, David. Fantastic.
Never in doubt.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Never
David.
in doubt.
Never in doubt.
Thanks, folks. Take care.
Yes, absolutely. Hail, hail.
Yeah.